But you hear me okay?
No.
Okay.
So, everything on this side, you're perfect.
Okay.
All right, so there we go.
Hey.
So we're gonna start out. This is Cece's first podcast thing, but you kind of have to look at the camera.
Oh, sorry. Hi. Hello.
So introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Cece. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, what's the reason you wanted to start a podcast or a show, not a podcast?
Well, that's a good question.
What's the appeal behind it, besides the fact that you get to vent, I guess?
My overall goal is to resonate with the audience.
Okay.
So, like certain topics that eventually down the line or whatever, to make people be like, "Hey, this is okay
to talk about."
Okay.
How-
Whether it's intimidating stuff, whether it's funny stuff, whether it's whatever, because there's some people who want to be humored, but are scared to, or they want to talk about something that's hardcore of like a certain communication with whoever, and they're like, well, I don't know how to approach this topic with this person.
Makes sense.
I kind of trying to resonate of different topics.
So how do you feel that you're going to be able to do that? Are you going to use your own life experiences to kind of just create like that? It's like, hey, this happened to me, and this is how I can.
I would try to veer away from my personal experience, because obviously when you interpret your own personal experience, it can be very personal, like in a way.
You think that you might be afraid to like say a little too much?
Exactly.
Maybe?
Yes, but it wouldn't honestly say that I wouldn't do it either. You know what I mean? Like I'll do it to a certain extent. Like and I would obviously we're doing all of this. For example, like I didn't know that I had sisters.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask you about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I had sisters. I didn't know anything about them until I was about 13.
Okay.
And then eventually, I was like, you know what? Ooh, sorry.
Oh, you got chills?
Yeah.
Is it cold in there again?
A little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. So I didn't know that I had them, or whatever. Like, and they were older than me, so they never knew about me, anyways, point blank either. And at first, I thought my mom was lying.
Wait, so are they?
They're for my
sisters?
father's side. Yeah.
But your mom knew about them?
Yes, my mom didn't know about them, and she didn't tell me until I was 13. And the only reason why she told me at that age was because I was bothering her. I was like, hey, I want a sibling. Like that's always what I wanted, because my cousins were always older or younger than me. I didn't have anybody around my age to play with.
Gotcha. Okay.
So once I turned 18, I reached out to a show called Troy the Locator back in the day, where they locate people.
Wait,
Troy the Locator. Remember the show?
Let me look that up actually.
Yep. So yeah, it was a show called Troy the Locator. I reached out to them, and I think I want to say maybe like 2 months later, they reached out and was like, "Hey, we're gonna take on your case, but we're no longer filming. Is that okay?" I'm like, "I don't care." Like my whole thing was to find them.
Oh, okay.
And the only thing is, I only knew their names, where they were born, and who the father was. That's all I knew. That's all, and roughly around the years that they would have been born.
That's actually pretty cool. I did not know that this was a thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I guess because they were going through, legal stuff with, television and whatnot. They never messaged me again. Only 2 years later.
So from the moment that you talked to them,
they just stopped communicating with me 2 years later, because I think that they were going through legal names and stuff like that.
When they reached out again, it was kind of like they're picking up where they left off type of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was under a different name, under a different thing, but it was the same people.
Oh, okay.
And then about 6 months after that, of going back and forth of, we found the biological mother, we found the biological uncle, I unraveled, and I'm not going to say too much, obviously, for purposes.
Yeah.
A lot of things were unraveled when things happen, and obviously I apologized for that ever since, because it's opened up something. Because remember, they didn't know about me. None of the family knew about me. So it unraveled, like, we didn't know that we had another sibling. So
but when they found out, how did they take it?
At first they were in shock, because they thought it was a prank.
I mean, it's understandable.
And especially, now in day and age or whatever. But this was also 10 years ago.
Gotcha. So it was like at the very beginning of like social media. Stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. So obviously it's a little scary.
Mhm.
You know, it's new things and people are crazy out there. Let's just be real.
I mean, looking at you, I wouldn't get that.
But that's the thing. But but that's the thing. We didn't know. I didn't know how they looked. They didn't know how I looked. They didn't know how I sound. It was all through that mediator, that the investigator.
Yeah. Mhm.
So long story short, we they found them,
Mhm.
and at first they were like, what nationality are you?
Asking you.
Me, yes, because for certain reasons and certain purposes. So I told them what I was. That's when they were interested because they didn't know, and I would tell you off air.
Yeah. I kind of know a little bit about it. Yeah.
So they were interested, and it so happened because they are located in North Carolina.
Your sisters.
Yes, and it so happened that same weekend that the private investigator found them, they're like, "Hey, we're going up to Maryland. Would you like to meet halfway?" So we met up in Maryland. They only had one picture of their biological parents, the actual father, the actual mother, and I had an album with me and my father, and that's how we confirmed that we were actually sisters.
Oh, that's nice though. Wait, when did this happen?
10 years ago.
And you've been in contact with them ever since?
And we see each other about 2 to 3 times, anywhere between 2 to 3 times a year. Whether I'm going down there, they're coming up here, and it's awesome because it's like your life like literally can change in a blink of an eye, because before them I didn't go nowhere. Like I never went out of New Jersey. The only time I ever did was with my family to go on cruises or whatever. And ever since I met them, I went there. I went to Florida with them. Like I started traveling. So it was like.
So who's taking that initiative to want to like.
My oldest sister.
That including you and asking.
Yeah.
That's nice though.
Yes.
So it's like, because that's not the same story with a lot of people. Sometimes
No.
when they find out that they have other siblings,
they don't want nothing to do. Exactly. And at first, how things were going, it sounded like it. You know what I mean? Because obviously everybody has a past. I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah. Everybody has a past. So after the first initial conversation between all the three of us, it was like we connected ever since.
So you guys were all cool. See, because I think deep down they understand that you're not the ones at fault.
And that's what my oldest sister says. She goes, we can't be upset with someone who has nothing to do with the whole situation. I just pieced
it together.
So, and it's like, I'm trying to keep my emotions on.
No, I mean, look, this is a safe space. I'm not.
I know. No, but and even if this goes on air, like I don't mind it.
Yeah, no, but ultimately, it's like you're gonna watch this and you're gonna tell me what parts to keep.
Yeah. And I'm a crier, so even if, I'm a crier. I'm a crier, so
it's okay.
It feels great to know that I'm not the only one.
And I think that also kind of feeds into like wanting to start a show.
Yes.
Where you can kind of talk about certain things.
And that's what ties up to the whole thing of your question. Yes.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though. Look at that. We went full circle. But see, in terms of like just like producing this kind of stuff, it's finding ways to lead to the next point, even if it comes back full circle.
Connect the pieces.
In terms of storytelling, it's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to something a little
more.
Different.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically, that led me into traveling, and that led me into exploring of who I am.
Okay.
And it got me to speaking with other people. It got me speaking with strangers. It got me, and I'm a type of person that sometimes I despise humans. Okay. But it also makes me human to understand different aspects of life. So
I think it's being exposed to them kind of also gives you a different perspective.
Yes.
Of how.
And then in that time, I ended up getting pregnant with my son. And that made me look at life 10 times different. You know what I mean? And like, even though they're far, it's family. And I want to resonate with other people as well, full circle again, where it's like, you don't have to be blood to be family.
And that's something I think that's more of a reassuring thing. It's like you can have family that are blood and still not be connected with them, and then have friends who are like family.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I've gone through something like that myself. So.
Yeah. So it's like, I want to make it fun too, like where it comes down to serious conversations like this, be like, okay, well, tell me good things about it. Good, like, you know, positive things about whatever that they do or what you do or whatever, to kind of branch off of people being so deep into their emotions.
Mm-hmm. No, I know. I think now, just being in like this whole era of social media, everyone kind of looks for validation, but not. It's kind of tough to find somebody that's like relatable, because everybody just wants to show the best part of them.
See, I don't want to do that. I want to show the humanity.
I think you're gonna resonate with a lot of people.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, we don't live in this fucking perfect world. We don't. We really don't. If we did, nobody would have any problems, and the world would be overpopulated.
All of us would have good credit.
What's that? What's that? What does that even mean?
No, now that you mentioned North Carolina, it's got me thinking now that the seasons are changing. Have you ever taken that trip down there during the fall?
Yes. So I actually drove down in the middle of winter.
Oh, but everything was dead at that point.
No. See, that's what you think.
Well, the pines.
No, that's what you think. Heading down there, their fall is still into like December, January. There's still leaves and it's still colorful.
Really?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. You would think.
I've only been to North Carolina during the summer, so that's actually a good point.
So like I said, I went dead. So my sister's baby shower was January, and we had a blizzard going on here. By the time I got there, it was sunshine with freaking orange and red leaves. I'm like, am I still in fall or winter? Which one is it?
No, I hate that little like window between summer and fall, because it's like you don't know what the fuck to dress. It's like you wear.
It's like this morning. Yeah. This morning, I wanted to wear a whole ass sweater, a sweater, and then I got here at whatever time, and I'm like, oh, it's hot.
Exactly. Look, the other day I didn't know what the fuck kind of weather it was gonna be. It said that it was gonna rain. It said that it was gonna be cold and it was gonna be hot. So I wore shorts, a fucking hoodie, and I forget what I had. I had like like one of those Navy SEAL hats, the ones that go.
Not sombreros. The bucket hats.
Yeah, I had one of those. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to prepare for.
Yeah. This weather. Yeah. Mother Nature be going through her feminine shit, okay? She be going through her shit, okay?
No, I love the fall. It's just there's a lot of shit from the fall.
I don't like the fall because of allergies.
You get allergies in the fall?
I have seasonal I have seasonal allergies. So every time the season changes, I'm dying.
What are your solutions for it? Not
Sleep.
Going out?
Sleep. I mean, I would say something else, but, you know, we're air. Or we're whatever.
What?
It's other things unclogs me.
Get the fuck out of here, really?
I kid you not. Yes. For some weird reason, it unclogs me.
Now I gotta look this up. Hold on.
So.
Does that help? Wait, hold on. Help with... What the fuck's wrong with my fingers?
Hey.
Oh, it says, so while sexual arousal can temporarily relieve a stuffy nose. This I know. I didn't know this. Bro, you're a different breed.
So, yeah, and do you know that if you have a migraine, not a headache, a migraine, and you alleviate yourself, it relieves the migraine?
I guess that's why I have no migraines.
Whether it's performed by somebody else or yourself, it relieves migraines.
I mean, I don't get migraines, so I wouldn't even be able to test that theory.
I've tested it. I've tested it.
Hey, hold on.
So
it works?
It works.
For migraines.
It works if the migraine is not intense. If you have an intense migraine, then it just alleviates.
Need to like PEMDAS that shit. So you have to have an intense climax.
Because the climax, the pressure. Because of the pressure of being relieved, that pressure also hurts it, and then it relieves it. Yeah, it's weird.
Hold on.
It's weird.
Oh, for some people, but not for others.
Yes.
So, like I said, you're a different breed.
Mm.
So if you have migraines and allergies, double time for you.
I'm telling you.
I got to find something that's comparable for men because I don't have anything to reference. Oh, it's because of endorphins. Block pain reception. Look, more of a reason. Find yourself somebody. It's cuddling season.
Hey, yes, cuddle seasons. But you know what's fucked up? My man is not physical.
What? He doesn't pick.
He doesn't cuddle. He's not a PDA person.
Yeah.
He's not. So okay, perfect then. Let me ask you a question then. Why is that? Why are like men as yourselves not a physical being with their woman?
Well, you know about love languages, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
obviously, yeah.
So it's just not his love language.
Okay.
For me, all right. For me, I don't like cuddling because one, it's our arms fall asleep when we cuddle.
Yeah,
that shit's annoying. Another thing is you've never been the big spoon.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't know how annoying it is to have a whole waft of hair in your
face
as you're trying to breathe. So then you got to do that side stroke swimming thing. You got to breathe like this and shit.
And that hurts your neck because then you get to pull a neck.
Exactly. So not only do I have an arm that's numb, now I have a crink in my neck. And, it's uncomfortable. Yeah. So that's part of it.
And I guess I get that from him because he's a gym rat. So his muscles are like pinching his nerves. So I can see that.
He already has a tough time wiping his ass. So imagine adding that to the plate.
Yeah.
No, but for real though, it's I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that we're not really held by anybody but our moms.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Maybe that's stretching.
Well, but now.
But all right, so answer me this: why are women so into it?
I'm into it for myself, and probably people can relate. It's because I never had that.
Okay, so you yearn for it.
Yes.
Okay.
I have abandonment issues. Let's be real, and that's because.
Yeah, but there's also guys with abandonment issues that don't necessarily.
But you also have to understand this: men are perceived as strong, macho, and having to withhold feelings.
Sure, that's like a societal thing, though.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I feel as though men are like that, but I know men who had that and use that and also be clingy with a female.
I was just about to say that. Mm-hmm. So another reason why guys kind of don't participate in that aspect of it, I guess, is because they don't want to be perceived as clingy. Because everybody likes to be held, but
there is some men out there who are worse than females when it comes to it.
What, to like physical touch? In what way?
Anyway.
What do you want, like?
And cuddling and sexual activities and anything. There's some men who are actually a lot worse than females.
I get that. I know a couple. I'm sure you know a couple.
Okay. And it's not like females don't like being touched, and it's not like females don't like being cuddled, because obviously, name me a female that fucking doesn't. Let's be real. Whether they tell you they don't, they do. Really? Oh, well, yeah, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But, fuck, what was I getting to? So, it's like, I crave it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's not saying that I want it all the time, because there's times I'm like, yo, just get the fuck away from me. Like, I don't want you even breathing my space.
No, and a lot of it also has to do with the lead up to it, because a lot of guys, they'll cuddle you to, get you,
aroused.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily aroused, but kind of lower your guard, and then they start, before you know it, there's a hand on your tit. So that's why it's like,
Yeah, no, yeah. But what I do enjoy is, and I guess this can open up to the communication aspect of it, but open communication. when it comes down to physical touch, I feel as a love language, I feel as though physical touch should be something to be talked about because there can be, even if you're married, there can be boundaries.
Yeah. No, so.
And I guess you can touch on it because you're married.
So when it comes to the whole thing, yeah, communication's a big part of it. But it's, guys can't communicate the same way that women can. Yes, because, and it has a lot to do with the fact like how women see men. If men express themselves,
But see, and this is where I kind of like, I hate statistics and I hate the whole sexist shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why humans, both genders, can't just sit there and try to understand the person instead of their gender. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, but you have to think about it too. Like humans are very selfish.
No,
Like
that's a very valid point.
If there was a situation that involved both of us, finding a way out, and I know what I have to protect, and you know what you have to protect. You really think you're gonna give a shit about the person next to you, knowing that you have something else that you have to protect?
See, I'm a different breed, like you said.
Yeah. You trip me and then just keep.
No, I would actually. It sucks to say this, but it's just it is what it is. I'm an in the moment type of person when it comes to serious situations. So God forbid somebody just came in here with a fucking AK. Let's just say. Yes, I am thinking about what I have out there, but my first initial thought would be you.
Well, that's yeah, but like in terms of like that's like situational hypothetical shit right now. But I'm talking about like in general.
Okay.
You're gonna look out for your stuff before you look out for anybody else's, and that's kind of what Yeah, like it's just human nature, and you can't expecting something different is only setting you up for disappointment down the line, and that's why when it comes to communication, it's better to I would assume it's better to just lay everything out at the very beginning.
Yeah, but again, it comes with open communication. But let me tell you, there's people out there that fucking suck with communication.
Yeah, but because a lot of the times that they open up, there's always something that there's a reaction to it that they want to avoid.
And you know what's crazy? I put something on my social media the other day. Not every action needs a reaction.
That's not true.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you say that? I'm intrigued now.
I'm not about the whole forgive and forget type of thing.
Okay.
Because it's
But what about forgive but not forget?
Yeah, exactly. That's the reaction.
Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. But I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about in a sense of like,
yeah, no, there's certain times where somebody wrongs you, and for the moment, it's better to just kind of ride it out. Just sleep on it, like we spoke before. Just sleep on it. It doesn't need an immediate reaction, but it does need a reaction. Because if you become this person that just
you're making me look at that perspective a whole different way now.
Yeah, no, but that's the whole purpose of having conversations because the way that I see things is complete because we live two different lives.
Oh, obviously everybody does.
Just as hold on, I'm going to switch to my camera real quick.
Okay.
So just as a reference for whoever the audience is going to be for this show, Cece and I have known each other since 2012. 2011. That's when you started. Really? So we used to work together at the store called Pathmark. We spoke very little, but for some reason,
because I spoke with your wife more, and then we ended up just clicking.
Yeah,
from there.
But we barely spoke.
Yeah, no, it was just a hi bye.
But like throughout the years, it's just been like this. Our paths have crossed, and then just lately, there's been an interest on her part to want to do something, and that's why we're sitting here together and talking about this stuff. But yeah, so that's a little bit of the context. Now I'm switching back to you. So
hi guys.
So our lives are completely different.
Oh yeah.
And so your upbringing and all these other things factor into like how you see the world.
And it also, I feel like, and it goes back into sexist. It also, who raised you?
Well, that's another thing too. Exactly. Are you asking me? No.
I'm saying in general, like of like how you were brought up. It's also who raised you, like who raised that.
100%.
You know what I mean? A lot of people tell me I'm a guy. I'm a guy in a female's body, but I grew up with all females. There was 13 people living in my house. Out of the 13 people, there was only 3 males.
So I believe that everybody should, and I've only thought this way as I've gotten older. I feel like everybody should have a balance of energies in the household, like male and
agreed. And because there was so much female energy, I didn't want that. And I feel as though that's why I veered off away from having a lot of female tendency stuff.
When you're talking about in your household, was there a lot of arguing?
Every day, and everybody would tell me I'm very loud or I'm very obnoxious, but it's not that I'm being loud or obnoxious on purpose. It's because when you have 10 females trying to talk all at once, it's a cat show. It's a cat show.
But see, like, perfect point. It's like you had to learn to project to be heard.
Exactly. So, and it's not that I'm screaming at you.
That's just the way that you talk.
That's just the way that I talk.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you need to whisper. This is me whispering.
I mean, you're capable of it, but you don't.
And then on top of it, what also doesn't help is I'm partially deaf.
That's something I learned today.
So not having certain sound waves, being able to listen to it, that's why. And when I tell people, like, what did you say? It's not me ignoring you. I genuinely cannot hear you.
Yeah.
And there's times where you can be across the room and I can hear you. It's just how it is. Like that. It's a certain sound wave. Because there's certain sound waves that I can't hear. And that's why I say I'm partially deaf.
Let me know what those sound waves are so I can start talking shit in those frequencies. Just
edit that out.
But going back to what you were saying, that not every action needs a reaction.
Yeah, not every action needs a reaction. I guess from my perspective, of what I mean is, like, growing up, I've seen a lot of violence in my life. That whether it's portrayed however you want to picture it. So I was never a physical person, not at least until I got into high school. So I always had the mentality of, I'm not touching you unless you touch me.
Yeah, and you went to a tough high school too. So.
And I'm obviously I'm not going to say what high school for reasons. But yes, I went into a very. You had freaking what the fuck do you call those damn things?
The metal detectors?
There you go. The fucking metal detectors.
Actually, your school was actually one of the first schools in New Jersey to implement that.
Yes. And then at one point they thought about purchasing what TSA had just to make sure that no kids were bringing in weapons.
I remember. Yeah. All right. So bring it back to the TSA thing at the school.
Yes.
Yeah, you went to school in a very rough area.
Yeah, so like violence grew up with me. You know. So I had the mentality of not every action needs a reaction. So basically, not every argument needs an argument. Not every roughness needs a fight. You know what? That was my mentality.
You don't match the energy.
Exactly. And that's because, unfortunately for me, growing up, I had to learn that. I had to learn to just walk away. Because there's times that you just can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? But I understand your perspective, because even walking away, that's a reaction to an action.
Exactly. But that's another thing too, especially now. The older that I've gotten, every interaction you have with someone is an interaction of power.
Oh, so much better. It was like on my ear, so it was hurting me.
Yeah, and like every interaction that you have is an interaction of power. Who holds the upper hand in this conversation?
Exactly.
Right? So, and I learned a lot of that from my job, because everybody wants to have control over something, and so everything ends up being about control.
Okay.
So
I hate control freaks. Sorry.
Not even control freaks, but if I were to get into an argument with you,
excuse me,
my whole point isn't to get my point across. It's to find something to show that I'm right. Nobody wants to learn or understand. Everybody just wants to be right. And
so, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of my experience here. That was one of the big faults of one of my old relationships. We never, I don't want to say we, because I always understood his part, and I was trying to understand. Let me rephrase that. I would understand his part, and I would reconcile with what he was saying. But anytime that I would project how I felt about the situation or about his responses, it's, oh, you never give a fuck about my feelings. You don't want to listen to me. You don't want, yeah.
No, but the reason I do that is because I feel the same way too.
Really?
Yeah, and no matter, and it all falls on you, unfortunately. Did you give him at any point? Did you cut him off?
No.
Well, that's you because that's what you remember.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really think about it, when you got into discussions with him, did you give him an opportunity to be like, yeah, I heard you, and I whatever? Because a lot of the times that happens when those relationships, when that specific argument comes up, a lot of the time has to do with the fact that they voice something, but all of a sudden something that you felt just kind of trumps it. And so all right, I can't say it anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I didn't do that. I did. Mm-hmm. But when there was certain communications that I would have with him, mm-hmm. Just a discussion like this, it would go south because he would feel as though I wasn't taking his feelings or his point of view at all, his mindset at all.
Okay.
So I would love to give an example.
Mm. Yeah, but if you give an example, you're gonna.
No, I know.
No, so I'll use an example from something that happened with.
I know, I got it. I got a scenario. No, I got a scenario. So, say you have a female best friend, right? And let's say we're together. So you have a female best friend or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm asking you to meet her. To meet your best friend. Meet your female best friend while we're dating.
You're asking me to meet?
Yeah.
Her? Okay.
So I'm asking you, hey, I want to meet your best friend since you're talking about her. Since you talk about her a lot. You guys are very, very close, and it's the opposite sex. Not that I don't care that you have a friend, mm-hmm. but
you just want to get a feel for her.
Exactly. I just want to know how she is. That's it. But now you're coming back to me why the fuck do you want to do that for? She doesn't want to meet you. Mm-hmm. Okay, I was like, okay, but just to make myself a little easier. Oh, but you don't need to do that. She doesn't want to meet you. Oh, you don't give a fuck what I say about this. Just leave it alone. Oh, that's okay, what I mean.
Okay. All right, that was something different to what I had in mind.
But to your point, yes, yeah. I can't sit there and say that I didn't do that. Mm. And I'm not saying that I didn't do it always, because I didn't. But when we were to go at it, it was always about him. Always.
Yeah. No, and I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. I know guys that do shit like that, and it's because they're not being heard. They're talking, but then it becomes this thing where your argument's all of a sudden more important. And it's just, no matter how much mm-hmm. we bring up our feelings, whatever you say is just going to be what it is. Mm-hmm, and so, mm-hmm. I don't know, I read somewhere talking about how when guys like to voice something out, it's not necessarily it's just a vent, mm-hmm. but that there's no opportunity to actually properly vent.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So,
but what you
I've heard that before, yeah.
What you explained opens up another can of worms too, because I ran into the same issue. Mm-hmm. I try not to share as much with anybody.
And that's understandable. Mm-hmm. And that's understandable. But then for people who want to share and can't have that open, and going back all the way from the beginning of the freaking the thing, for people who have a hard time even just touching on the subject, I want to be able to help kind of open that communication. Hey, it's okay. And if they're not ready for it, they can let you know, hey, I'm not ready to have this conversation right now. Mm-hmm. Or I'm not ready to talk about this topic right now. Or I'm uncomfortable about speaking with this. And then that's when you'll start learning what conversations, what topics, what words that you can use with anyone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because if you can learn it with your partner, then you can learn it with...
You can have that conversation with anybody. No. I completely get that. And that's why I don't know where exactly to cut back in.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
But, I didn't understand the importance of that until later on. There was a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah. In life, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure with a lot of people too, where you kind of just learn that the best solution for everything is just to climb up, just to hold everything on. And that's a problem with men.
And that's what I'm trying to teach my son.
To not do that?
To be able. So I'm not saying that I'm not raising him to be a man, because obviously there's certain, I hate to say this, but there is certain statistics that men should do and certain statistics that females should do. Hear me out afterwards. But us as humans, us as genders, we perceive as men of holding their feelings or holding conversations or holding communications to certain aspects, because men shouldn't hurt females' feelings for X, Y, and Z. How do you expect to have a partnership if you can't explain X, Y, and Z? You know what I mean? So what I do with my son is I sit him down and I'm like, explain me how you're feeling. If you're feeling sad, why are you feeling sad? If you're feeling mad, why are you feeling mad? So like that he can get into the habit of expressing why he's mad, why he's sad, why he's this, why he's that. Because men have a hard time doing that. And I'm not saying, obviously I can't speak from experience because I don't, I'm not a man. But from the men that I have crossed paths with, they all tell me that. That they feel like they can't express themselves because, for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, and it's not only cultural, or it's not only societal, it's also cultural too.
Really?
Well, no, I mean, you're Portuguese. It's like, it's like...
Oh yeah, all Portuguese men are supposed to be like this strong-headed, always working.
You know how many Portuguese people that I know that have never taken Portuguese guys that have never taken a vacation?
Oh yeah, agreed. Yeah, yeah. And
all they know is work.
And going back to with my sisters, before I was a workaholic. I had 4 jobs at one. Right now I have 3 jobs. Technically 4 if you want to count this in the future. You know what I mean? But it's also how you use your time wisely too. But
that's part of the problem. Like, guys can't talk about it, and so they decide that work is the option. So they spend 40 years working.
And I want that for my son.
Yeah. So I think it's good that you're teaching him to be able to communicate the right emotion and
exactly.
And validate the emotion.
Yes, exactly. And I want him to make sure that it's okay to feel like that sometimes. Because even with females, people have this persona that we're supposed to be housewives. We're in 2024. I'll be damned if I'm a housewife. Don't get me wrong. I love cooking. I love cleaning. I love doing all that shit. Dishes? No, not so much. I hate the fucking... I'm a texture person.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, yes. So you can't touch nothing gooey.
No. So that's one chore that my man does. And it's not that I force him to do it, but he and I have, proof to whatever. But he's like, okay, well, since you're doing laundry, I'll cook and clean the kitchen.
See, but that's an understanding that you have with him.
Exactly. And it ties back to open communication.
Yeah. See, but do you think, given who you are today and who you were, let's say, 10 years ago, that you and your current partner would have been... No?
No, because he was a fuckboy back then.
Well, no. Oh, okay. No, but I'm talking about you. Like, if he were the way that he is now, but you met him 10 years ago, do you think that you would be...
But that's the thing. I've known him for 15. He wasn't the same as he was now. The way he is now, he wasn't 10 years ago. So no, we wouldn't have gotten together.
Okay.
So, but now if he was the way he was 10 years ago, I still don't think that it would work out because I wasn't the same. I had a mouth on me.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that's why, like, do you think that the person of you back then,
no,
if you were still the same person, you'd be dating him now?
If we were both the same now, back then, yeah.
No, I'm talking about, so him being the way that he is now and you being the way that you used to be.
No.
It wouldn't work.
No, because
I remember you when you were working at Pathmark.
Yeah, so in Pathmark, so the whole Pathmark thing, back then, I was in a rebel space, and that's why I kind of kept the name Rebel. I was in a very bad rebel stage of my life, where I just didn't give a fuck. Like I wasn't scared of anything. I didn't give a fuck. Like I like if I died tomorrow type of thing, like so be it. Like that's where I was back then. But it also comes with a lot of trauma and a lot of things that I was trying to black out in my life that was happening at the time. So I just didn't give a fuck. So I was a psycho bitch. Let's be real. I was crazy. And at the time who I was dating didn't help either. So yeah, it wouldn't have worked out because I had a very, very bad mouth on me back then, and he doesn't like that.
Mm. So do you think that besides your life experiences, do you think having a kid also
Oh yeah. Once I had my kid, not even while being pregnant, no. Once I had him, like and it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. It's true. Once you hold that little fucking human, it's a whole different fucking world.
Everything changes.
Literally everything fucking changes because while you're pregnant still as a female, you're still able to go out. You're still able to do things. You're still able to maneuver and shit like that, you know? But now you have this thing that looks up to you and you have to take care of it. You know what I mean? Like that it's yours. You can't just give it away. But because I have a condition that I'm not allowed, my body doesn't allow me to carry full term. And I was able with it, I was able with him. But even throughout my whole pregnancy, they were telling me like, hey, you may not keep the baby. So don't get
you were high risk the
entire time. Yeah. So like, don't get too attached, don't.
Damn, I fucking hate it when doctors do shit.
But the thing is, it's the truth though. It's sad and it's fucked up, but it's the truth.
Yeah, because for someone like you, right? You're holding the baby. You're going through all these things. Having those thoughts that you might not be able to keep it also affects you negatively.
But I use that as motivation though.
Yeah, but
not everybody does. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like again, the whole thing is I want people to be like, hey, even though I have this condition, it's not impossible.
Yeah, no, of course, and I get that. I really respect that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like it takes somebody within themselves to sacrifice whether they want to do something with their lives, because that's a big sacrifice that you're doing within your life, especially your child's life, when you're not under the same household. That's something that I actually did sit there and think about. Whether I want my son to be around that, what's going to happen with this and that and the whole 9 yards. And with my son, with that whole situation, is the way I wanted to live my life and the way I wanted to raise my child was always going to collide with what he wanted. And my son's father is a very big jokester, but he doesn't know when to stop, or he doesn't know the boundaries. And every time that I would discuss with him about it,
it's just a joke. Yeah. Did you ever think that he was going to be a good father?
No. But ask me that question now. He's a great father.
He's a great father. I think it's also because of the distance.
Exactly.
Because if he were there all the time, I don't think he'd be able to deal with the growing up. Yeah.
Nope.
He's gonna realize.
And that's what I have to keep telling myself.
Yeah. No, and that's what other people have to reassure you, because that's exactly what it is.
And even and it's gonna get me emotional, but it's fine. But that's what I lack, reassuring myself. Because
remember what I said before? You're your biggest enemy.
Yeah, agreed. And I had to learn that the hard way. Like the hard fucking way. Because there was one time where my kid didn't want to be with me. He would cry. I don't want to go with mommy. I don't want to go with mommy. Mommy's not fun. That hurts. At one point, he told me he didn't love me.
But this is coming from a child who doesn't necessarily understand.
Agreed. Agreed. But at the time, I was a first-time mom. Like, that was my child. I didn't know that, because the kids that I raised weren't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What did that do for you? Did you feel that you needed to change something in order for your kid to look
and that's exactly what I did, because also back then, because I was also trying to find myself as a mom. I was just everywhere. I was always out, but I would take him obviously with me. But it's fine. I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you. So I had to I had to find myself again, because after being a parent, it's hard to live a life with a kid. You know what I mean?
Big time.
But anytime I would have him around me, I still feel like I couldn't be a parent.
Is it because you felt like you had a lot of responsibilities that you had to take care of?
No, because my family didn't allow me to. Because I moved back in with my grandmother.
And so she was taking...
No, not my grandmother, my mother.
My mother, she was taking like control over how to raise
she tried to, yes.
Mm.
And there would be times with me and my mom, we would get very intimate in the sense of in each other's faces. And I can't sit here and say that I'm not hot-headed on certain topics. But obviously after a child, especially the first 2 years after giving birth, your emotions are at its peak. So my fuse was very short. Mm-hmm. So to diffuse the situation of not getting physical with her, I would just leave. Because, okay, you want to raise my child? Fucking just take him. Like that was the mindset that I had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't until I want to say my son was about 3 when I said, fuck this, grinded my ass off and got myself an apartment and just moved myself out with my kid.
But do you feel that what's it called? So obviously he's still too young to understand any of this stuff going on. And at some point you will tell him.
Yeah.
And, he might not be.
So I kind of have a feeling where you're going with that. Mm-hmm. I told myself there's certain things that I'm not going to tell him. I told myself that I'm going to the grave with that. Like, I'm never going to tell him.
Why? So why is mommy doing this? And, he's going to start piecing things together.
Agreed. And if he comes up to me and asks me, then that's different. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to
want to be that person to kind of inject these ideas about it. And that's a very honorable thing to do.
Yes.
I'll give you props for that.
Yes. If he comes up to me and be like, hey, mom, is this true? Like, I've heard it. I'm not going to sit there and lie to him.
Mm-hmm. No, that's like I said, it's a very honorable thing to do. It's a very, you definitely don't want to be that person to inject, because then you come off seeing like the resentful one.
Exactly. So, like, for example, I wanted to teach my son at a young age to sleep in his own bed. Mm-hmm. And my son's 7. He still sleeps with me.
But
But now that I got also older, I'm kind of happy that it did happen that way, because eventually he's not going to want nothing to do with me. My son. Mm-hmm. He's not going to want nothing to do with me. He's not going to want mommy's hugs. He's not going to want mommy's kisses. He's not going to want mommy's I love yous and shit like that until he's older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That rebel stage of like 13 to about like 20 something. He's going to be like, ew, ma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's with any kid, male or female. You know what I mean? So in a way, I'm kind of glad that it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's kind of inconvenience because I'm only in a queen size bed and he's getting bigger.
Mm-hmm. And you're sharing it with your partner now, and it's like,
Exactly. And then his son sleeps with him too. So that was all 4 of us on the fucking bed.
4 people on a queen size. I mean, you're lucky you're small, but it's
compared to them, I'm the biggest one. Okay.
No, but it's. I think it's. I grew up with both parents. Letting the audience hear it. They got a mind of their own.
Yeah, right.
No, I grew up in a household with both parents, so I don't have that. I do have that single parent type of thing.
So if you want to get technical, I didn't grow up in a single family home.
No, I know.
I grew up by my parents, my grandparents. I had a grandfather and I had a grandmother, so I had a father and a mother.
Oh, so they raised.
So they raised me. So I had a 2-parent household, but I also come with baggage because my parents weren't parents.
And then you also had a grandparent who was an alcoholic, so you grew up around a lot of fucked up shit. But I'll be completely honest.
Not even alcoholic. He was also abusive to my grandmother.
So imagine. So you grew up with violence, trauma, alcoholism, all this other shit, and you're raising a child on your own, and
with no help.
With no help.
No fucking help.
You're doing really good.
I appreciate that. Stop.
No. But I'm serious. It's like it's a very and then that's the one thing that I'll never understand. It's like, why is it that parenthood changes a person? I'll take that back.
Parenthood changes a person depending on who the person is, because obviously for my mother, it made her worse. It made her worse
after having kids.
After having me, it made her worse. My mom. So back then, from what my grandmother told me, back then my mom was very like school smart and this and that and whatever. When she got older, obviously she went out and shit like that, whatever. But then she got pregnant. And it made her just want to be out more because she couldn't handle the crying. She couldn't handle the toddler stages. Like, she couldn't handle that.
Mm-hmm.
As for myself, that's all I wanted. I wanted to see my kid grow up. I wanted to see my kid's milestones. I wanted to be with my kid 24/7.
Could it be also because you didn't experience that?
It could be. It could be. I don't know. Like, I'm not
No, but I mean, you don't need to be a professional to understand trends and,
yeah.
to see.
So it could be a possibility, yes. But mainly for me was because I guess I wanted to give him the childhood I didn't get, whether it was from my parents or my grandparents.
That's the soundbite, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna clip anything, it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to give him the life that I didn't have, and not saying that I want to give him everything that I wanted, but I want to give him the life that he wants. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, but also it's like, I appreciate that you said you wanted to give him the life that you didn't have, not necessarily in the material thing, but also in the emotional and the physical part.
Exactly.
Of it too. Like, kids are simple.
And they're sponges.
Yeah, and they pick up on everything that's that they see. So if you would have stayed with your kid's father, and he
wouldn't be happy. My kid would not be happy. I'm gonna be honest with you. My kid would not be happy.
There would be a lot of stuff going on.
And he would have the trauma.
Do you think that being a single parent, let's say if you didn't have your partner right now, and you were raising him on your own, do you think that outcome would have been a lot more beneficial than being with someone? Like, do you feel that? Well, right now you have a partner, so that's kind of like a moot point. But do you feel that having a partner in the household would help your kid's development?
Yes. And I kind of wish that my son's father did find somebody else, not for him purposely, but like if my child can see that his parents can be with other people, or just having a 2-person household, they would be very beneficial for my son. Instead of seeing, okay, well, my dad's by himself and he's raising me, but my mom has a partner. She's always had a partner. You know what I mean?
You think that that's wrong for him to see?
No. That's not what I'm saying. But the more, it takes a village to raise a child.
And you're lucky to have your grandma.
Yes.
To help.
Yes.
But you're largely doing this on your own, and that's why you have like 3 jobs. You have different hustles that you
yes.
do to
yes.
try. That's why, like, one thing that I'll never understand is like why men just kind of just give up. Like, they have a kid and they're perfectly fine leaving.
Yeah.
Like, I could never, like, I have, like, like, I have kids. It's like I don't think I could ever find it in myself to leave them because it's, I don't know, it's like, I don't know,
it's hard.
It's a fucked up thing to do.
But I can't experience from the male perspective, but I can speak on an experience that was told to me. I was told once that the reason why this specific male walked away from his child was because the mother was so toxic that it would have been better off of the child being with the mother and the family than being raised around that toxicity that she had against him.
So he took himself out of the equation to kind of balance it a little
yes.
bit? But, like, all right, so I would
well, wait, hold on. And I'm trying to clip it this way. That's why. And from the perspective of this person who told me, I get it. Because it's like, if the mom is not that toxic to the child and neither is the family, then that's fine. You know what I mean? And I get that. Because then when there is 2 toxic people fighting consistently,
they pick it up.
So I get it. I understand. So I guess what you can say is, if it's going to be beneficial for the child to remove yourself, and if the child will understand it later down the road, then that's different. Then you just have to have that faith that they're going to understand when they get older. Yeah.
And in that sense, I do understand that. But there's people.
But there's people that just walk out just to walk out.
Yeah. And I never understood. It's like, I don't know. It's a very fucked up thing to do. Like, I don't know.
My father told me that.
Your dad told you that?
He said that he removed himself out of the equation because my mom was so toxic for him. I didn't understand it growing up because I was such a daddy's girl. It wasn't until I had a child of my own to understand it.
Was your dad an active part of your life?
No. I didn't start talking to my dad again until about maybe 6 years ago. He's been gone for 20 years.
Did he ever tell you why? Like,
that's the reason why he
no, why he didn't like try to keep up with you or anything? Because at some point he should have known that you would have gotten.
He didn't know how to approach me after. He didn't know how to start a conversation with me. He didn't know how to, because he just left. He didn't tell me he was leaving my life. Like, he just disappeared on me.
That's
and
yeah.
And that was because he didn't want to hurt me, in a sense of like, either way I was gonna get hurt. Obviously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
like, so like, that's kind of like a
but how he did it, because I only saw him, every couple months or every other week or whatever. Not saying that I didn't get hurt, but the way he did it, I hurt it less, because he knew I was a daddy's girl.
Yeah, I get it, but like there's like so many like milestones that you missed or he missed.
The only thing that he genuinely missed was me going to high school.
Yeah, but that's still a big thing. It's a big life moment for you.
I could care two shits about high school.
At high school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But did he actually genuinely miss everything? No, not necessarily, because I still have the rest of my other family from his side on my social media.
Oh, so you were able to like.
So he was still
able to keep up.
Yes.
A little bit. Okay.
And like he would reach out like happy birthdays and stuff like that, but we never had conversations. And at that time, I would have that mentality like, well, fuck you, because you left me.
But see, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
But when I got older and I had a kid of my own.
Yes, but then think between that point and that point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who have like this need to want to feel validated by their dad or whatever, that they do a lot of reckless behaviors.
And
right?
that was my rebel stage.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know if you ever went through this, but like there's people that, they want that dad figure that as soon as they turn 18, they're dating somebody that's like 50.
Oh, no.
Yeah, or they're fucking around and doing all this other shit.
So I wouldn't say I was fucking around. Okay. But I would say that I was looking for that validation in men. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, like you understand it now, but you kind of had to muddle through a ton of shit to understand that.
And fun fact, I'm writing a book about my life.
Do it.
I am. I'm chapter 3-ish. Yeah. So another fun fact, I have memories since 2 years old.
You remember like everything? So the best thing you could do is journal or write that shit down, because at some point you're not going to remember.
Oh, yeah, and obviously. But yes, I have core memories from 2 years old until now. And there's some good ones. There's some bad ones. There's some fucked up shit. But now, it's not an autobiography, because I'm not putting my actual name or anybody names. I'm using different names. Okay.
I mean, it's autobiographical.
Yeah.
But just with different... Like the names have changed to protect their identity.
Yes. And places are going to be different too.
Okay. Dude. I mean, you do it all anyway. So it's like the fact that you're writing a book is just like.
Yeah. So the whole sole purpose of that. And obviously eventually my people in my life is going to pick up who's who for certain events that happen in my life, that they're going to realize, oh, this is me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Are you?
I'm okay with that. You know what? You want to know why I'm okay with that? Because even though some events were traumatic, even though some events should not be spoken about, it's going to relieve so much pressure off of me. And even if it does cause problems, I don't care.
I don't think it'll cause problems, because remember.
Oh no, it will cause problems.
Like problems, like criminal problems?
No. Like it's gonna start like arguments within my family.
But that's not something that you should worry about.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I don't care. Yeah. So and that I don't care. Mm-hmm. Like I genuinely don't care if the world knows X, Y, and Z, because nobody's gonna be able to pinpoint it together unless it's people who are around me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I lose family, I already lost them a long time ago. You know what I mean?
So you justified it already, or yeah.
I accepted it already.
Accepted it, yeah.
I accepted it already, and I accepted it a lot. The day that I moved out officially on my own is the day that I lost my family. Because my family always thought that I would always stay home, take care of everybody, take care of this, take care of that. You know, they thought that I was going to be another of my grandmother, because that's what my grandmother does. My grandma takes care of everyone.
So then what happens when, God forbid, you know, the time comes for you?
That's it. I already said it. Once she dies, there's no family for me left. My son is going to be my own.
No, that's why, like, family isn't, like you said it before, family isn't just blood. It's whoever, you know, is there for the important stuff.
And it sucks to say that, because there's family members that, don't get me wrong, I'll go to jail for. You know what I mean? But do I talk to them every day? No. Do I see them every day? No.
Yeah, but it's not necessary, because you know.
Agreed. No, agreed. But what do I wish I see more of them? Absolutely, because mind you, they live 20 minutes away from me. If you don't have the effort to come see me, why should I put the effort to come see you? And only me. And only me. No, it doesn't work that way. Like, I have a life too, you know? Like, you have to meet me halfway somewhere.
But that's also a big thing too. That's why I brought up the whole hypothetical about your grandma, because from what it sounds like, it seems like your grandma is the glue.
The glue. She's the absolute glue of this whole fucking family. But even her being here, nobody sees her. Nobody goes visit her. Nobody does anything.
They take her for granted.
And that's what they thought that I was going to do.
That you were going to be like...
I was going to basically replace her. I'm sorry. I'll be fucking damned if anybody's thinking that they're going to start living with me because they don't have it. Sorry. Figure it the fuck out, because I did. I hustled. I did what I had to do.
Yeah. No, and you're in your right to do that too.
And people and that's what my family don't like about me, because I'm very ruthless.
Yeah, I kind of picked that.
Yeah, I'm very ruthless, and I tell people how it is, and nobody likes that. Sorry, shit ain't peaches and creams all the fucking time. You know what I mean? That's
the downside to family too. It's because it's like you grow up around them. There's this expectation that you're, you know.
And because I was raised about, by my grandmother, and I'm literally I will always say this: I am my grandmother's daughter.
I mean, she raised you.
No, what I mean is the way I am, the way I look, the way I sound, everything is my grandmother. Is my grandma. I kid you not. She showed me a picture once, around the age of like 20 something years old.
You guys even look alike?
Identical. Like if my grandmother birthed me.
Man.
So it's like again, the way I carried myself, the way I would take care of people, the way I took care of kids with her, and they thought that I was gonna be just like my grandmother. But when I started doing my own shit, they're like, "Oh, why are you acting this way?" Because I'm not. I don't
Did
give
you
a fuck.
lash out when they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because my thing is, granted, I get it now. I should have never grew up as quickly as I did.
You should have never grew
up as quickly as I did. But I'm glad that I did, because I got to experience what life is actually about way before my time.
Do you think that it helped you?
Oh yeah,
be a good mom now?
Oh yeah, because honestly, I don't think I would have even had a kid by now yet. Granted, he wasn't planned. But the way I see it is, shit happens for a reason. So he was put in my life early for a reason. You know what I mean? To ground me like, hey, since you know about life, do the parenting now and then enjoy it after.
That's actually a really good way to look at it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's, I don't know. I feel like
because I grew up early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I can experience life a little bit more rather than experiencing life and then being a parent and then dying.
Being an old parent?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of falling into that right now.
Well, I'm talking about like I wouldn't probably have a kid until I was about like 35, 38. Like that was my goal at first, was to have a kid at that age.
Yeah.
But even with the situation that I had, like my health issues, I'm kind of glad that I did have a kid early.
I mean, would you have another kid?
I want to.
Yeah.
I don't know about my man though.
About what?
I don't know about my man if he wants another one.
Oh, I mean, sorry.
So
yeah, that's a conversation you need to have.
Obviously, but that's also a conversation I need to have with myself, because if I do want to stay with him as a partner, not as whatever, as a partner, if I do want to stay with him, that's something that I have to think that I have to sacrifice within myself, that I'm not going to have another one if he doesn't want one. Doesn't want another one. You know what I mean? So that's something that I have to come to terms with first before having that conversation with him. Because I don't want to go into that conversation headstrong of, oh, I want another kid. And then that fucks us up.
See, but that's, it's surprising to hear something like that from a female. And
really?
Yeah, because it's, I don't know. Like I've felt like it's been this thing. It's like when I want it, I want it and I want it now type of thing. That's why you're different. Yeah, and that's why I'm just like it strikes me a little bit sometimes. Yeah. I'm just like.
So and I will always say this. I'm a female. Yes, I obviously.
It's like my tit grazed the mic.
Yeah, right. But I don't look at you as a male. I look at you as a person with feelings, person with questions and concerns and shit like that. That's how I look at everyone. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I want this, this, and this because I have tits and you're gonna give it to me. Like, no.
But that's how most relationships are nowadays. I can tell you something off air, but that's what it is. It's like well, in order to
cancel me if you fucking want. It shouldn't be that way. Women need to fucking man the fuck up, and men need to woman the fuck up sometimes. Okay.
No, it's for the sake of the relationship, to avoid problems down the line. A lot of the times it's just easier to just be like, okay.
But don't be a yes man.
No, it has nothing to do with being a yes man. It has more to do with the fact that there's sometimes kids involved. Sometimes there's things that are in place that if you were to kind of go against it, it kind of brings everything crumbling down and you have to start from zero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I understand. With certain situations in certain relationships, personally, and I'm going to put my personal opinion out there, obviously. Regardless of how crazy the dream is for your partner, you should always be a support. Always should be a support, regardless of what it is.
It's not even so much that it's crazy. It's not a lack of faith. It's knowing that the resources could be applied to other shit. That's the biggest argument.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it's like,
Yeah. But that's, and I'm gonna speak on the female perspective, obviously. Females have this idea that they want to live this perfect white picket fence. Unfortunately, we don't live in that era no more.
But why do you think that is? And this is going to bleed into one of the topics that we spoke about the text earlier this week.
So I feel as that because social media.
I agree.
Social media has such a big part of the new generation and kind of melts into our generation because we grew up right at the crisp of it starting. You know what I mean?
Yep.
With this new generation, they're seeing all these picket white fences, but that's all for show.
Well, it also has a lot to do with the fact that.
Ooh, I'm getting like into it now.
I mean, we've been recording for an hour 30.
Really?
Yeah, but that's why, like, there's a lot of parts that you got to cut out. But that's why with social media, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily post.
By the way, we're gonna have to cut this soon.
Yeah. Oh, I have to go a little bit, but like, I don't post anything from here. The stuff that you've seen was the stuff that's already polished and stuff. You didn't see how many injuries I got setting this shit up and all that stuff because nobody wants to show the work that it took to get there. They just want to see the end result. And so what's being posted on social media now is the end result. And so that sets this unrealistic expectation for everybody else.
Exactly. And just to bleed off of that.
Oh, sorry.
Why would you post your progress for haters to inject negativity before you can get the final product? Like, what's the point of it?
It's the same reason why people post gym videos, because everybody wants to document their journey. But like you said, there's haters on there. They don't give a shit about your journey. They just want to see you fall. You know what I'm saying? So it's... I use
it as a fuel.
Yeah. Oh, I forget. You do post gym shit. Sorry. No. I didn't mean it like that. I promise.
No. Respectfully, I understand where you're coming from. But I do it to prove to those haters that I don't fucking care what you say. You know what I mean? Because I had because I had a situation. Recently, please, this is gonna be good fucking content right now. I had somebody recently. So you know the not gonna lie question bullshit that people have been doing or whatever.
Sure.
you know the questionnaire anonymous question shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did that. I did that for my own personal reasons. Let's just put that out there. But I had somebody go on that question shit and be like, where's your progress? I don't see no progress. I said, well, you don't see me every day, nor do I post myself every day to see progress. I told you I'm only showing clips of it and showing different angles. So so it can seem like I'm not doing anything.
That's such a dickhead thing to do.
But
well, not your end, but answer the fucking stupid ass.
But I use that as fuel to even go harder.
No, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. You're built different. See, like, if I would have documented this whole thing, yeah, no, it would have been completely different.